On October 19th, 2025, VKS have made history by defeating PSG in an intense 2-1 series. With this win, they moved their score to 1-2 in the Swiss stage, keeping Brazil's hopes and dreams alive. In this video, we'll be breaking down the key moments that allowed this win to happen. By the way, I'm Deos, a former LCS coach, and I most recently won 2 titles with LG in NA Tier 2. If you enjoy the content, please like, comment, subscribe, and join my community Discord. Before we begin, let's quickly talk about the history of Brazil internationally. Brazil and ACAP have a storied history. Back in 2021, Peace eliminated Red Canids in the play-ins. 2022, DFM eliminated Loud in the play-ins. 2023, GAM eliminated R7 and Loud, and guess what? The play-ins. Finally, the curse was broken in 2024 when Pain defeated VKE. However, what Vivo Stars did is more impressive. On October 19th, Brazil is eliminated a major region in a do-or-die series. Now, let's start talking about the gameplay. The first thing VKS did very well was use their side moves and control vision. In League of Legends, it's all about numbers. When you have more numbers than the enemy team, that's your opportunity to get control and to fight aggressively, which is something that VKS did a really good job of. Let's see an example of this in Game 1 at around 11 minutes. Alright, so let's actually break down what ended up happening and how this play even began to occur. As you guys recall from earlier, we talked about how League of Legends is a numbers game. So in this case, if we just look at what's going on, Alistar walks down, gets vision for Sivir. Now we have 2 people on the river, Zinzao and Ali, and then Talia on mid. When you have people grouped like this, to actually make use of their time, what they're going to want to do is actually step in deeper and get control. But the important thing here is at what point do they actually choose to get control? When they choose to get control is when Sivir has moved from bottom. Right here, this is just standard sweeping, nothing crazy. And then, when Sivir crashes this wave, we're going to see something very interesting. Here, showing his face, getting info, it's fine. Sivir begins to move, and then look, this is when we initially pull the trigger. And get some chunk damage. And then finally here, when Sivir is in a full rotation, they look to extend the play. Flash in, full combo. And unfortunately, in this moment, they actually just missed out on actually killing Karsa. They end up getting his clone, but it's not the end of the world. Notice here as this fight extends, while instantly TPs first to match numbers, Ambessa also TPs, and then we're just in a situation where Disamis goes on the bot side of the fight and ends up dying for free. And the thing that it's really easy as a viewer is obviously Trimby's highlight play at the end of what happened. But the most important thing here was just seeing their willingness to actually hold vision aggressively and then fight with their Sivir move. Another example of this happens at 16 minutes. Let's watch. So a pretty similar situation. Talia pushes the bot wave. Herald is already up. Miryu catches the next bot wave high. So now we know that VKS is going to have a shift from side. Let's see how that changes their gameplay on this part. Important thing to notice is that Sivir actually has 1.2 gold. That is why she's channeling her base. Trimby starts posturing aggressively. Retakes line. They see Maple bot lane. And now there should be a really clear indicator that this is their timer to get control. Let's see how they make this happen. Talia takes over midway. Sivir rotates to the Herald. And then now they started. They're correctly holding banana control here. They see Ambessa, and then this is where I really liked the instinct that they showed when it comes to these fights. Sivir instantly goes and then marks the Ambessa. She doesn't black hole onto her entire team. They're still holding banana control, and I'm actually going to show this vision here. Right, they all know where they are. Disamis goes on the Rakan, instantly full combos him, and then they're able to win the fight like that. Obviously, a part of the fight going really well in their favor is the Ambessa missing the ulti. But what I really like to see here is how quickly they reacted to what was happening. Worst teams and worst players, if they see Ambessa like this, they might just group on top of each other, giving a potential insane angle for the Rakan with his flash and W. However, what they do instead is that Sivir specifically puts herself away from her team so that she's in a position to get womboed. They aggressively hold this bush. And then, when they're ready, they go and engage quickly onto the Rakan who's showing face. For the next half of the video, I'm going to go to game 3 just to show you how decisive VKS is in these high pressure moments. Right here, this is game 3, 16 minutes. I'm going to press X to showcase Zaya's code. If this Yunara is a good player that she's going to be calling on in game, Zaya needs the base. And that's what I'm assuming she's doing right now. They also have really good information around Herald, so it's pretty clear from their perspective that PSG is most likely going to be bot side. Now, the difference between good and great teams is what they do with this information. If you believe that you are stronger, then what you need to do is match. And then right in this situation, Boal has no TP, so some teams might actually be a bit afraid of matching. But what they do is, in my opinion, very solid. Yunara's calling that Zaya has the base. Bard's pinging aggressively on this angle. Boal is showing base on the wave so he can cancel, and then they pull the trigger quickly here on Orianna. Even though Orianna has her entire team behind her, it doesn't matter, because even if this play elongates, Yunara will be here, and then Zaya is, that's right, in base. Also, Boal, during this moment, looks to pressure the Cassante and make sure that he doesn't get a TP for free. Very good, quick, fast decision making. Definitely looks like it was a play called by the Akali and Nocturne, which is what you love to see. The next example would be here. PSG know that Nocturne is on Herald. They have a ward on it, so they try to do the basic play of walking in and taking camps. However, VKS is a good team and recognize that what PSG is doing is illegal. They have a move from Akali, and Nocturne has his ultimate to connect. With this Bardar, it elongates the fight, and then he gets off of the Herald and then comes here and then plays for this. Another good example of quick decision making using the fact that I have great pick tools, Nocturne, Bard, and then also using Akali's move timer. Let's look at this one. This one's a beautiful example of playing around flanks. Akali, looking for her flank angle, gets a great path through bot try. She actually gets spotted, and I really want to highlight this moment for getting spotted, because a lot of bad teams here, what might happen is that they leave Akali left with us. But instead, what VKS notice is they go, okay, we have to start it now. Nocturne instantly presses R, the Poppy instantly TPs, so that they can still use the fact that Akali has this great angle. And watch how this fight ends up turning out. Beautiful ulti. Completely free. Now, for this final clip, I really want to highlight VKS's creativity. We're going to go to what everyone's favorite part of the game is, the Otacon. Now, standard Otacon macro is that if this top tier 1 is still up, it's really hard to play for it. However, if you have Bard, who has the ability to actually shut down turrets, is that really true? And we are going to see if that is the case. They get full control. Try, no vision. Let's see what happens next. Right now, PSG likely feels very, very safe because they can fall back onto this turret. Akali shifts through the jungle and then gets his flank angle. Now, when I was watching this live, I was thinking, what is Akali going to do here? Right, the turret is still up. But here we're going to see once again the beauty of their creativity and decision making. Akali gets her angle. Bard tosses his R on the turret. Poppy gets a beautiful ultimate. And now this is just a free dive onto the Zaya underneath. And what a beautiful play by VKS to basically shut down PSG's chances of winning. So to summarize, what is the takeaway here? There are 3 main takeaways. When you have shift from side, how important it is to play aggressive around these control timers, the importance of being decisive when you're engaged, the example of Yunara saying that Zaya has the base, and then engaging, pulling off of the Herald on the Nocturne, and then chasing them out for kills. When they were hitting the Herald in game 1, going on the recon with Zin's out 3rd Q, instead of giving enemy time to get a perfect engage off, alongside their just general creativity with their champions kits. Trimby's Bard was insane, utilizing his Bard art to make Akali flank more threatening at the Otacon, Nocturne global so that he could actually participate in defending of camps. VKS showcased a lot of great gameplay fundamentals, and I'm really excited to see what they do moving forward in Worlds. If you like the content, please like, comment, subscribe, and check out my other videos. Thank you.